What's up everybody, Shane here, and I want to show you my Tim Keefe 2 deck that I just won the 2019 Omaha Pro Tour circuit with. So this is a deck that I've been practicing for about a month or two now, and I want to give the deck credit to Brandon Bueno. He's a player in Omaha, Nebraska, and he first designed this engine for Tim Keefe 2 that I saw at least, and he showed me the deck, and you know, we played a couple games and I saw what it was doing and I decided to make my own list, and then we played them together and we did the mirror match, and like it was a deck that I just loved to play. So that's why I chose the deck to play for the Omaha Pro Tour circuit, because I just had a lot of fun playing it and the deck felt really good in my hands. So yeah, I just kind of want to go over the interactions with the deck and what it does, the cool combos you can do and all that stuff. So let's get right into it. Tim Keefe 2 Dot is the character. This is Tim Keefe's second champion character card. So in this game, if you win nationals or worlds level events, if you win the singles tournament, you get to create your own character card that is tournament legal in the game. So you become a part of the universal fighting system, or you become a fighter in UniVersus. So champion character cards, they normally have to be generically good just because they don't have support cards like normal characters in a set. So basically, you have to take a champion character card and you put them on top of a package that already exists, and then that's when they're able to shine. So let's just take a look at his abilities. The bottom one's really important. Twice per turn, you get to seal one of your opponent's foundations. So every turn, you get to turn off 2 of your opponent's foundations. That's like extremely strong, because your opponent gets to build all these cool foundations and you're just say like, nope, that one is blanked for the rest of the turn. So it's like, it's both offensive and defensive. It comes in handy a lot. But the top ability, the response, you basically get free checks. You get +2 to your check if you go to play a card that has higher printed difficulty than the last card before it. So like this character rewards you for playing cards in like weird orders, right? So normally you'd play like a 3 difficulty foundation followed by a 2 difficulty foundation followed by a 1 difficulty foundation. Well, with Tim Keefe, you kind of play them opposite just because you get free +2 to the checks. But the engine of the deck, this deck profile is going to be weird because I'm going to show like some foundations first and then some attacks. Then I'm going to just show you kind of what is like the stars of the deck. So there's 2 foundations that are really important in this deck: Sense of Morals and Fusion Refusal. So both these cards have a static ability that says that they don't count towards progressive difficulty when they're in the card pool. So basically, Fusion Refusal, if you don't play it as a form, like on your turn you play it as a form, as long as you don't do that, then it doesn't count towards progressive. So if you block with it, if you use its ability to bring it up from the staging area, if you use Nut Kracker to bring it in from the discard pile into the card pool, like it doesn't count towards progressive. So otherwise, Sense of Morals always does not count towards progressive, but Sense of Morals is also really important because you get to check through your deck. Basically, you make a ton of checks off your deck and you get to put these cards in the discard pile. So these cards are very important with Tim Keefe because you can play like an attack and then you can like bring up Fusion Refusal and then play another attack and then get +2 to the check because the card immediately behind it is a 1 difficulty, and attacks usually have more than 1 difficulty. So these are the stars of the deck. These are the most important foundations. Now let's talk about some attacks. The most important attack in the deck is Power Flip. This is really important because of the enhance. You get to add all the foundations from your card pool down into your staging area. So what this does is that you can go on like crazy turns where you're like power flip. Let's just say you have like 2 Fusion Refusals down here. You can power flip, then you can be like add this up, you give this 2 damage, so it's like 9 damage. Then you can play like another power flip. This is on a 6 because these don't count towards progressive. So like you can check a 3, then you get +2, so you check a 5. So like you don't have to worry about checking bad. But then you can use the enhance to bring these down. Then you can like enhance, bring these up again, plus damage, and like another power flip, and enhance, bring these down, bring these up, and then you can play another attack. So like you get free checks just by using this card basically. And then power flip allows you to reset your foundations basically. Like you can play foundations first and then like play power flip later in the chain and bring all of them down. So power flip is the most important attack. Nut Kracker is of course one of the best attacks in this deck. So like you can lead with this and then you add a foundation from your discard pile into your card pool, and then you draw a card. So the cool thing about this is you add it in any order. So you can add it after Nut Kracker, you can add it before Nut Kracker. Normally you add it after because you can just play another attack. So like an average turn is like you play a Nut Kracker, you bring in a Fusion Refusal from the discard pile, and then you get to draw a card. You can pump damage if they're male. But after that, you can like play like an Akimbo, you know, that's on a 5, and you check a 3, get +2 with Tim Keefe because, you know, free checks basically. Then like after that, you can, well, normally you play foundations first, like you usually play like a Sense of Morals first, and then like probably another foundation, then you Akimbo, then you draw cards because you have foundations in your card pool, and then you can play the power flip. Where's my power flip? There it is. Power flip, that's up here. That's going to be on a 5, 6, 7. You can check a 5, 6, 7 easy, and then you enhance to bring all these down to your staging area. Then you can like bring this up. Then you can play like another attack. So like it's an aggro deck. You want to do the same exact thing every single time. This is a 59 card deck plus 1 character. So like it's just an aggro deck. You just want to keep doing the same combos and stuff like that. But there are many ways to kill the opponent in this deck. So Nut Kracker is, you know, one of the best cards. We were talking about Akimbo. This card's very important because you can play foundations first. Like you also want to have foundations in your card pool because they have lower difficulties than attacks. So when you attack them after you play foundations, you just get a free +2 to your check. So Akimbo is very important because you usually have many foundations in your card pool, and then you play this, you get to draw like 2 to 4 cards off Akimbo. And then when you play this, you always want to make sure you have a foundation as the first card in your card pool because then it gets plus like 5 or 6 damage. Normally 5 damage because, wait, what's 6? Oh, I don't have any 6-check foundations. I just have a 6-check asset. So yeah, it's always gonna get like +5 damage. So yeah, Akimbo is another one of those cards that just like, it extends your turn because you get to draw cards. A lot of times you draw attacks with Akimbo, and that's the juice you need to finish off your opponent. So yeah, the main package, as we were talking about earlier, you put the champion character card over package. What this guy works well with is the power flip, Nut Kracker. Where's Nut Kracker at? There it is. And then Akimbo. So like the Cassie Cage package works very well with Tim Keefe. Along with, yeah, we got Sense of Morals too. That's also part of the Cassie package. So yeah, that's like the main part of the deck is all of this stuff right here. So moving on to some other attacks, Missile Launcher is extremely important. So normally character cards, they pump speed or damage, right? This is a character card that does not. So in order for Tim Keefe to deal lots of damage and kill the opponent, you need to have combos in the deck, big damage in the deck, because your character card inherently does not do anything for that. So because we're adding checks and sealing their defense and stuff, we usually want big cards to hit them with, and that's what Missile Launcher is. It's a 2-check, but it's fine because you can check it and get +2. So it's kind of like you're checking a 4 when you do it. Yeah, so usually this card always hits. Like a lot of times you can play this turn 1. Like you can play a foundation like Sense of Morals. Like if you go second, like this character doesn't mind going second because you can just attack them turn 1. You can play Sense of Morals into a Missile Launcher on a 5. You can check a 3, 4, 5, passes. You stun 2, you mill the top 4 for speed, and you hit him for 6 off the bat, and then you get momentum, which is important for later because you can use it for like Nut Kracker EX3. You can use it for Dark Chireitou, which is what we're about to get into. So yeah, Missile Launcher is super important because it pushes damage through. Like you get the stun as powerful 4 EX2. Like you can kill people with this card. So yeah, Missile Launcher is a really important part of the deck. Now 2 Dark Chireitou. This is another kill card. This is really important because when it's in your card pool, your opponent can't reduce the damage of your attacks. So like Tim Keefe, again, he doesn't pump damage, so he wants to make sure his damage is on board and you can't really touch it. So like Dark Chireitou is really important. Another thing with this card, it's multiple 2. So you use the momentum that you have in order to kill them because this spawns another attack. And then it's more attacks you can use like Fusion Refusal with, or there's some other damage pumps in the deck as well, which we'll get to later. But the coolest thing you can do when you have double Dark Chireitou in your hand, let's say you hit him with like a Missile Launcher and a Nut Kracker or whatever, like you have 2 momentum. So like late in a chain, after you play like your combos and stuff, you can play Dark Chireitou, pass the check, you multiple 1. So you multiple 1, right? This goes through, this goes through, so then now you're back to your combat phase. Then you play another Dark Chireitou. Now, the card immediately behind it is a printed 0 difficulty for Tim Keefe. So you get +2 to your check. And then once you do that, then you can use the multiple 1, and then boom. You just sent like 4 attacks at him. So this is really good. That's another kill card in the deck. Now, the final attack in the deck is 1, the Voice from the Abyss. This is really important it's like Bang. Like Bang is one of the best cards in the game because you get to seal your opponent's character. This, you get to seal your opponent's character on their turn. So it's a reversal. So normally you block, you play this as a reversal, and then you seal their character. It's 6 difficulty, but usually what happens is that you play a block like, you play like one of these blocks or something, and then you reversal. Now it's on a 7 difficulty, but you get +2 to your check to play it because the card immediately behind it is lower printed difficulty. So yeah, this is very important because it's more defense for the deck. It turns off your opponent's character when they're like trying to kill you. This was very important during my last round of Swiss match against Jacob Johnson because he was like attacking me with only 3 foundations, and then I just blocked, played this, and sealed his character, and then he like tried to go in still, and then he just didn't have the damage that he would have had if he had his character not sealed. So yeah, this saved me. Alright, so that's all the attacks. That's how you deal damage with the deck. So let's go into some of the foundations to help benefit the deck. So what I think is another important card in the deck, one of the MVPs besides Sense of Morals and Fusion Refusal as we just went over, another really good card is One with Nature. I think this is an aggro deck and you need this to push through damage. So you discard a card from your hand to give your opponent's block modifier to block your attack +2. So that's like giving +2 speed to your attack that your opponent can't really interact with, because normally they have abilities that can like play with speed, but like having abilities that affects block modifiers is more rare. So in addition to making their block modifiers harder, the bottom effect once per enhance step, whenever you pitch a card from your hand, which you do with the enhance, you get to give your attack +1 damage for free. So like let's say you have 2 of these out, you can activate one of them, discard 1 card, and then respond twice to get 2 damage. And then your opponent's block modifier is +2. So yeah, this pushes through your attacks. You do have to discard a card for it, but like our attacks draw cards. Like we have Nut Kracker, which draws us a card, and then we have Akimbo. Where's Akimbo? There we go. Akimbo draws us like 3 or 4 cards. So like these two fuel your One with Nature, and you can keep pitching cards to just push your attacks through. So again, going back to the point that this champion card does not pump speed or damage, you need cards in the deck that actually do. So this does both. Like you pitch 1 card, you technically get speed, like uninteractable speed, and then you get free damage as well. So I think this is important in the deck as a 4-of. So now I move on to some of the more technical pieces, I guess. Hell's Reach. I used to play this as a 4-of, but like it's not really necessary. It's a 0 difficulty, so like this is nice when you play like have like 4 cards in your card pool. You play this, you need a 4, you pass it, then like you can play a 1 and then just pass the check because you get +2 to your check with Tim Keefe. But this is an aggressive card. You know, when it's committed, you get to flip it and ready it, so it allows me to keep going. Like if I check bad with Akimbo, if I check a 3 with Akimbo, I can like commit these and then draw my 3 cards with Akimbo and then ready these. So it just allows me to like further like fail my checks technically, and then I just bounce back because I ready these. So Hell's Reach is just an aggressive card. It does everything I want to do as far as like playing many attacks in a turn. So yeah, there's that. 3 Goro's Victory Pose. This card's very important because of Revoke. So all of the best plays in the deck revolve around Power Flip, because you get to bring a bunch of stuff up and then you Power Flip, bring them all back down. And then if they revoke the Power Flip enhance, then your turn is just stuck. Like you can't really do much. So what happens when you play your Power Flip, you get to do all your cool things, but before you use the enhance to add all the foundations down, you flip Goro's Victory Pose so they can't play action, so they can't revoke you. Like, I guess if they have 2 revokes, then they can revoke the Victory Pose, then revoke Power Flip. But then they're just playing 2 revokes out of their hand, and it's probably not going to happen a lot. So yeah, Goro's Victory Pose is very good. It also prevents people from blocking with actions. Like there was this one time I knew my opponent was going to block with stop, so I flipped this, and he like couldn't block with stop. He had to block with something else. So yeah, Goro's Victory Pose is very important. One addition to the deck that I really like is Bastion Stance. This comes from Jacob Johnson's Mike Hardiman list. So what Bastion Stance does is, like when it's down here, you get to bring it up to your card pool, and your opponent has to add a committed foundation into their card pool. Now, because it's going into their card pool, it's going to clear at the end of the turn because it was not played as a form. So what happens is that like you got power flips, right? You get the power flip, and you get the stun, so like commits their foundations, and you bring those foundations into their card pool. Then you power flip enhance to like bring these back down, which is insane because like you can play like another attack, like another power flip, add a committed one up. You just debuild them, and then you just power flip, bring them back down. So like this is free debuild. It's also really good because it says your attack. So what you can do is you can like reversal them, and then make them add a committed foundation to their card pool, and then enhance power flip, bring it back down. So like that just like stops their whole turn, because now you've debuilt them, they have +1 progressive in their card pool, and then they're forced to like play foundations because they don't have the foundations to pass checks. So yeah, Bastion Stance was really important in the deck, and it helped me win a lot of my games actually. The seal ability is also really good too. Like flip and seal one of your opponent's Chaos Death or Evil Foundations. I was able to do that against Jacob Johnson. I sealed a card against him, and then he was like, oh, I can't stack my deck anymore because the card I sealed stacked his deck. So yeah, this is very important. It was very good for me. Next up, we have some defense. The Dark Side of Karma. This is like kind of staple-ish on its symbols. Basically, it's playable while committed, and you get to negate something that your opponent plays on an attack. So if they play an attack that isn't a weapon card, then you can just like negate any ability on it, which is kind of nice. You can also flip it to reduce speed back to printed. So like it's just a defensive card, and it's a 3 difficulty, but it's fine because like you can easily play 3 difficulties with Tim Keefe because he rewards you for playing cards like in weird orders. So yeah, it also has a low block, and this deck doesn't have many low blocks, so like this is really important. Then we have 2 copies of Pursuing a Vendetta. I used to play this as a 4X. Like I used to play a full playset of this, mainly because I don't like it when people try to blow up cards in my staging area. I just don't want people touching my staging area, and this card kind of like circumvents that. Like it means that like they can blow something up, but like I can bring something back. But the truth of the matter is that not every deck blows up your opponent's foundations. So I took 2 of this from the main deck and I put them in the sideboard. So then if I do go up against a deck that blows up foundations, I side 2 more copies in. Basically what happened is that I needed to make room for Bastion Stance, so I took 2 copies of this out for some Bastion Stance. But yeah, this is very good because it just protects your staging area, and then you can bring stuff in. It's funny sometimes because like there was one time someone played a Spirit Gun and they blew up a card, so I used Pursuing a Vendetta, and I pulled back a 1 with Nature, and then next turn I was able to kill them because it had the 1 with Nature. So like it has its uses, and it's just like a good card all around. But like I said, the fact of the matter is that not every deck blows up Foundation, so this probably isn't a 4 of, as I once played it as. Then we have 2 Guardian of the Spirit Sword. This is just good defense in the deck. So it's free speed reduction, and then you get to flip and discard a card to return an asset card back to your hand. That doesn't happen too often in this deck because I only play 1 asset, but it's just good defense. Like this helped me win against the Kung Jin round 6 or something. Let me just show you the asset that I play in conjunction with Guardian of the Spirit Sword. I play 1 Omega Sword and Elk Shield. So this is the only asset in the deck. When you block with it, you only take 1 damage. And that's very important for this deck because you're a 7-hander, you only have 20 life, you need your defense. And this is one of the cards where you can just like block, and then just you only take 1 damage. So it's kind of nice. Also, when you block with this has a 1 difficulty. Tim Keefe's response works for blocks as well. So like if they keep attacking you, you can block with like a 2 difficulty foundation, and then you get +2 to your check to block. So that's like, it's really important too. So it's good that this card has a 1 difficulty on it. So yeah, that's like the, this is free speed reduction, but if I need to, if this is in my discard pile, I can like flip this, pick this up and block with it and just take 1 damage. 2 Overly Dramatic. This is good. It's just like a generically good card. You can stop anything that would decrease the damage or increase speed. It even hits character abilities too. So like this is just good defense in the deck. It's also good offense too, because if they try to reduce your damage, you're just like, nope, cancel. So now they got to deal with it. Otherwise, if they like, a lot of decks increase speed, so you're just like, all right, cancel your speed puff, and then I can just like block, So yeah, Overly Dramatic's good. That Deadlock ability, I never used it because my opponent never built in a Deadlock, mainly because my deck was too fast. So yeah, this is mainly just the top ability, the response, just to cancel stuff. That's why I played it. All right, now we get into the spicy 1-ofs. There's a lot of these. So 1 Act of Treason. This card's very important. So this card, you remove this and you remove a reversal in your discard pile, then you get to remove a foundation in your opponent's staging area. So you might think that with Tim Keefe, you get to seal 2 foundations. Normally, like that's not enough. Like normally you want to seal 2 at once. So like a way to do that, you have Act of Treason out. You can remove this, remove a reversal in your discard pile, and then remove a card from their staging area, and then you play and then you seal. So it's like taking care of 2 foundations with only 1 attack. So the reversals I play 1 Voice from the Abyss, and then the 4 power flips. So power flip, I'll play 4 of this. So there's 5 targets for Act of Treason. Then we got Castaway and Forgotten. I almost want to play 2 of this, but I feel like I have enough defense as it is. This is just a really good card. You can like flip, discard a momentum, and then seal their attack after they play it. So like it just turns off one of their attacks. The bottom ability is good too because after an attack with a printed damage of 3 or less is played, you get to seal it. So you you just seal it just by destroying this card. You don't need momentum. One of the cool things is that it can seal fatality. So like that's kind of nice. Like I get an enhanced step on their turn when they play fatality. So yeah, this is just a good defensive card as a one of. One copy of Unlikely Allies. This card I had to stop, let's see, like Breaker on attack, stops Princess Parry, stops Skull Barrier, like any response on an attack card, this card can stop. That's the main reason I played it. The bottom ability did come in handy. You can just check a 5 to get +1 speed to all your attacks, which is kind of nice. But also that card helps you check through your deck. So remember, at the beginning, we were talking about Sensimorals, how you can use Sensimorals to check through your deck in order to get more cards in your discard pile to bring in for Nut Kracker. Well, Unlikely Eyes kind of helps out too. So it's like 5 cards I can use to just check through my deck. Then we got one copy of Venomous. This card just stops any non-character draw effect. So like if they want to add cards to their hand due to an effect or draw cards, you can just destroy this and cancel it. So it just stops them from getting more options. So yeah, this is a one of. I also side another one of these, but I'll get to the sideboard later. Then we have one Refusing to Let Go. This is just an amazing defensive card. It helps you live. You commit, return to printed damage, -2 damage. So it just helps you survive against decks. One of the coolest things you can do in this deck is you, like say you block, then you reversal with Power Flip, and you're in Desperation. You use the Desperation enhance to bring in Refusing to Let Go from the discard pile. Then you enhance Power Flip to bring your block and the Refusing down. Now you can survive against attacks. So like that's one of the coolest things I did. It's a really strong play, especially on defense when you're trying to live. So yeah, Refusing to Let Go is a very strong defensive card. Now we have some Action Hate, Familiar Faces. This it's just one of the best Action Hate cards. It's in your staging area. You can destroy it. After your opponent plays an action card, you cancel its effects and then discard it from the card pool. So like on offense, you stop, out of your league. Like there's just so many cards you can stop. One of the best cards I stopped was Let's Cut Loose. Like that card just gives so much advantage to the opponent, and I'd rather just destroy Foundation than having him like draw 2 cards. So yeah, this is very good. It also stops Revoke as well. So like when you have this out, when you have your Power Flip plays, then it just doesn't. It just protects your Power Flip from Revoke. Then we have Reclaiming What's Ours. First form, you remove it, you get to peek at your opponent's hand, and then they have to discard an action. So this helps so many times. Like, my opponent's holding on to 3 cards, and I pop this, I look at their hand, they have like a bang in their hand, they have to get rid of the bang. Or they have a Revoke in their hand, they have to get rid of the Revoke. So and it gives me information on their block zones, so I know if I can kill them. Knowing your opponent's hand is like the best information you can have in the game. And then the bottom ability is just good anti-discard. So like if they make you pitch cards, you can just like gain life and draw cards. So yeah, it's just a really solid card. Then the final 2 cards of the deck are 2 stops. This is super important defense. In my opinion, Stop and Bang are like the best silver bullet cards in the game. So if you're not playing Stop or Bang, stuff that touches your opponent's character, then like you need to either have defense against those cards or you need to like just not worry about them. Because like Stop, a lot of times the opponent draws their hand, they attack, you block with Stop, their turn's pretty much over. They don't want to attack anymore because they usually want their character for like its bonuses and stuff like that. So usually they just build Foundation. So this just buys you another turn that you can use to set up some cool plays and stuff like that, or just attack them and kill them too. So yeah, Stop's really good. Alright, so that's the entire deck. Now let's talk about the sideboard. So there's 8 cards in a sideboard. The 2 Pursuing of Vendettas I was talking about, how I main deck 2 and I side the others. Like I said, not every deck blows up Foundation, so this is just, I bring these in against like basically the Spirit Gun decks, Lord Raptor, things that just blow up your Foundations, I bring this in against. 1 Overly Dramatic. This just helps sometimes you want to, like their character card does stuff that like it would touch speed or damage, you just like bring this in just to help counter stuff. So yeah, that's an additional copy of Overly Dramatic. 1 additional copy of Unlikely Allies is like I said, it cancels Parry, Breaker. Like I sat this in against Lord Raptor because he usually blocks with attacks, and then you can just like use this and cancel the Breaker on their attack card. So like that's kind of nice. It just stops a bunch of stuff. 1 Venomous. This is good against a lot of decks that just like to draw. Just extra insurance. Just to I bring this in. Now I have 2 Venomous that I could like draw faster. More times I can bring him in with like a Nut Kracker, play Power Flip, bring him down. So yeah, another Venomous. Then we have 3 attacks. I have a Spine Sweep to combat asset cards. So Tim Keefe only seals foundations. He doesn't seal assets. I don't really have any asset hate in this deck, except for maybe like Voice from the Abyss. I can seal their entire staging area, but Spine Sweep is just like, you know, mainly what I wanted to bring this in against, like Zhanghua with the Critted Yuga, Kevin Broberg decks. You know, there's just a bunch of decks that just play assets, and then like if I ever come across them, I can just play this and just blow up their assets, and it's just a blowout. So that's kind of nice. Another copy of Voice from the Abyss. Depending on how oppressive their character is, I bring this in, and then I can just block seal their character. So it's, you know, I play one in the main deck, so I can like bring these in and just like seal their character. I have more chances to do that. So it's also a good mid block. I brought this in against the Kung Jin meme deck I played against round 6 because like you need the lowest mid block you can get against that deck. So yeah, another Voice from the Abyss. And then Dragon's Tongue. I used to main deck this card, but I found out I was killing my opponent way too fast, and they like never. There wasn't really many times where they would outbuild me, and then I needed to reset the board. So I moved this into the sideboard against I come across like a Gil or like somebody who likes to play like a long game and stuff like that. Like like a lot of times if I'm playing against a control deck, if I win game 1, I'll side this in game 2 because I know that they're gonna try to build foundations just so they can build a wall of defense so they can protect against my offense. So yeah, that's why I play Dragon's Tongue. So yeah, that's the 8-card sideboard. 2 pursuing. I'm gonna Luchmatic one. Unlike the allies, Venomous, and Spine Sweep, Voice from the Abyss, and then Dragon's Tongue. That's the sideboard. All right, so let me just kind of show you what an average kill turn looks like with this deck. So like, probably build some foundations. You have like Sense down there. Let me just pull out some random foundations. Probably have. You probably have a Fusion Refusal as well. And you have like a Bastion Stance probably. Let's just say you have these cards out. Let me take this away. Let's just say you like built these. So like what an average turn looks like, you usually have either like a Nut Kracker, Akimbo, Power Flip, and Missile Launcher. All these are 4-ofs, so like you have these cards. So usually what will happen is you play like a Sense of Morals first, and you play a Nut Kracker. So then you use the Nut Kracker effect, you can bring in a foundation from your discard pile. So the thing I always try to look for is a Fusion Refusal. This always comes first. If I don't have Fusion Refusal, then I bring in Sense of Morals, just because they don't count towards progressive. However, if I have a Power Flip in my hand and there's a foundation in my discard pile, like a piece that I need, then like Familiar Faces or like just anything I need that isn't Fusion Refusal or Sense of Morals, then I'll usually bring this in because you play Power Flip later and then you build it. So, but normally you just get the Fusion Refusal. So then after the Nut Kracker resolves, then what you can do is you can play like Akimbo, and then so you make your check need of 5 because these two don't count. So then you check a 3, respond. So then after that happens, you can like you would make a check for Akimbo to draw 2. Like if you fail it, it's no problem. You just commit these. Then you can like Fusion Refusal, bring this up. And then after that, then you can Power Flip on a 7, check a 5, and then you like give it +2 with Tim Keefe. So then you can do stuff like Bastion, well, you would stun them, then Bastion Stance, bring this up. Then your opponent has to debuild one into their card pool. Then you Power Flip Enhance, you bring these down, including this. So then what you can do then is you can play like Fusion Refusal, because it doesn't count, give it +2 damage. They probably have to take this because this is so much offense, and then you just debuild them with the Bastion Stance. Then after that, like if you drew like another Power Flip off the Akimbo, it's just nuts because then you can like play Power Flip on an 8, check a 5, 6, 7, 8. Like I do it all the time. Then you can like Fusion Refusal +2 damage. Then you Bastion Stance to debuild them. Then you Power Flip Enhance, bring these all back down. Then you can like debuild them again if you want, or you can just Fusion Refusal. Depends what's in your hand. Like normally after this, you have like a Missile Launcher, or if you have like a Dark Chireitou or something, then what you can do is just not even bring this up because Dark Chireitou is a 6 and this is a 5. But normally you have a Missile Launcher, so you bring this up and then give it +2 damage. So this Power Flip has like the damage from the first Fusion Refusal and then the one from the next. But then like you bring this up, then you play Missile Launcher on a 9. It's like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because like all the foundations are 5s in this deck. So then you stun 2, then you add one of their stun foundations in the card pool, and normally this is like enough to kill them. So yeah, that's like an average kill turn. But it's just nice because like Power Flip, you can like keep bringing stuff in, you know, because you have these out, you have these. You like keep bringing in Fusion Refusals, and if you have another Nut Kracker, it's just amazing because like if you Nut Kracker, bring in Fusion Refusal, and you like Nut Kracker again, bring in another Fusion Refusal, then you like Akimbo, and you like draw a bunch, and then you just play Power Flip, and then you bring these down. Now you just have these to just keep bringing up and then bringing down with like Power Flips and stuff like that. So like it's just a crazy deck. It's really consistent at sacking the opponent. All this time you have like a 1/1 nature just to push through your attack because you're like drawing so many cards. You can just push through with 1/1 nature. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and put the stream matches. I have 2 stream matches from the event that Legendary Wolf game streamed. I'm gonna go ahead and put those up and just kind of speed them up and then kind of like commentate, show you what's going on in those matches.
This is top 8 of the Omaha PTC. This is game 2. So I took the first game, so my opponent got to go first on the second game. So he goes first, builds 3 foundations. Then on my turn, I build 4 foundations and an asset pretty easily. So then his turn 2, he goes in with a Cathedral Standoff to draw 2 cards for free, turning him to an 8 hand size of that turn. He loses 2 life for Vicious to make me flip a foundation, then loses another life for Vicious. Then I block with Stop and I commit his character. Now that's pretty crucial because when I block with Stop, his turn's over, he can't keep attacking me. So then on my turn 2, I don't have enough offense to go in, so I'm forced to build another turn. So I've spent 2 turns building. I play 5 cards out of my hand. So the reason why I do that is because I have 2 blocks in my hand, but I also have the Omega Sword on board so that I can just block whatever. So then his turn 3, he's going to burn some more life with Vicious. He cuts for 2 to make me flip a foundation. And I'm forced to flip my Refusing to Let Go, which I don't want to do, but you know, every other... He just played a Dark Chireitou, so I can't use it. So then he plays his action, pumps his attack by 2, cuts another life. So he's lost 6 life on his own, which is great. That's like 6 damage I don't have to deal. And then I don't have a low block in my hand, so I'm forced to block with Omega Sword. He goes to play a Missile Launcher and checks a 3. So he has to commit 3 cards to pass it, or he will fail, which he decides to do. So now this is my turn 3. I realize I have to make something happen here. So he was only at 25 life, so that's kind of easy to do. So here's the kill turn. So I start with a Sense of Morals, which is like usually what you want to do because it doesn't count towards progressive and all that. So then I decide to use Act of Treason to remove a card. I think I remove his Eliminating a Ban. Yep, I removed that card. So then I lead with a Dark Chireitou. The reason why I did that is because he has some defense on his board. He has Commander of Outworld's Armies, and he also has Eliminating the Van. Both those cards reduce damage. I can't stop Toughest Punk because it reduces the damage he takes. So I decided to use Bastion Stance to debuild him, and then he blocks my Dark Chireitou. So then I play Power Flip, I pass a check, I use all my Fusion Refusals because I built 3 of them within 2 turns, so I give it plus 6 damage. Power Flip, bring them all back down, so I can Bastion Stance to debuild him again, which I do. So now he just like can't block because he has 3 cards in his card pool, and this is a 5-speed 11 damage attack, so he's forced to take the 11. He can't respond with Commander because I have Dark Chireitou in my card pool. So then I play a Nut Kracker and I give it enough damage, and then he has to check a 6 here to block, and he does not. So that was the final game of top 8. So this is the final game of the tournament. I won game 1, and so my opponent decided to go first on game 2. So he goes and builds 3 foundations, and I draw my hand. I have an Akimbo in my hand, so I kind of think for a little bit if I should play 2 foundations into an Akimbo, which I do, and I end up checking a 6, so I don't even need to respond with Tim Keefe there. But I check the 5 for Akimbo, and I'm able to draw 2 cards. So then he blocks it, the Akimbo, which is fine, because I just drew 2 cards. I was a 9-hander, so I was able to build 5 foundations and still keep 3 cards in my hand. So his turn, he plays an attack, makes me discard a card with Edward a 9, and I'm forced to discard a Missile Launcher, which I didn't want to do. And then he makes me discard a random card, which is a Nut Kracker, but the other card in my hand was Stop. So I'm able to block with Stop and commit his character card. So he still decides to attack me, even though I blocked with Stop, which is it's going to deal damage because I choose not to block that attack. And then he goes for a Moonset and fails the check. So that kind of just put me in good advantage. I draw my hand. I only have 2 attacks in this hand. So I decide to play 3 foundations, 2 senses, and a Bastion Stance into an Akimbo. So the Akimbo is going to allow me to draw 3 cards, which is great because I have more fuel to push with the 1/1 natures because I built 2 copies of 1/1 nature on my first turn. So I draw my cards, I pump the damage on Akimbo, and then go ahead and send it in. I'm kind of calculating right now because I'm putting my cards on the table how many I can discard for 1/1 nature. So I discard 2 here, I believe, and then he blocks and fails to block on purpose just to get the card out of his hand. So then I play the Power Flip. And then I check a 3, but I commit 2 to pass it, and then I bring up Fusion Refusal, flip Hell's Reach, then bring everything down. So I looked through his discard pile to see if I want to debuild him with Bastion Stance, but I see that I shouldn't because he has a God of Thunder. So then I play a missile launcher. I should have flipped Goro's Victory Post first, but I put everything into this missile launcher. He plays Demon Realm Awakening, which gives my attack -3 damage, but I have the Fusion Refusal to give it +2 damage, and then that's the game.
Alright guys, thank you for watching my Tim Keefe deck profile, the Omaha PTC first place deck list. Once again, shout out to Brendan Bueno for making the engine of the deck. He's the one who's like, hey, we should play Nut Kracker, Sensimor's Power Flip, bring him up, bring him down, and just do like a bunch of stuff with the deck. So it has a lot of cool combos, and yeah, I just want to thank Brendan Bueno because it's a deck that I have a lot of fun with. And that's the number one thing. That's the number one reason why I played this deck for the Omaha Pro Tour, because I have a lot of fun with it. If there's anything I could say, it's like, make sure you're having fun with the deck that you're playing, because it's like, you don't want to go into a tournament and play a deck you're not having fun with and just hate yourself the whole tournament. Then you've just defeated yourself before like the battle has even begun, you know? So like, make sure that you're having fun playing the deck, and this Tim Keefe deck is fun. Like, I have a lot of fun playing this deck, and I'm probably gonna play for nationals and some more PTCs and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just a blast to play, and I really enjoy my time. So this, you know, you'll probably see me playing this deck again. So yeah, so once again, thank you for watching this video. It is sponsored by LegendaryWolfGames.com. Get all of your UFS cards and other TCG singles at LegendaryWolfGames.com. .com.